Since 1790, every decade, the United States launches a count of the country's population as required by the Constitution. But it wasn't until 30 years ago that they started to keep track of the Latino population.
It was in 1980 that was referred to then as the Hispanic identifier, a specific question asking people whether or not they were Hispanic was introduced. It was also the first year that people answered the question on their own.
But after the implementation of that question, there have been different approaches as to how to put this complex population in a specific category.
There are two questions, really, in the census that ask about race ethnicity. One asks the question of whether or not a person is Hispanic. Then there's another question that asks people what race they are. The government has conducted a number of studies in an attempt to dissuade the choice of some of the race category, and a lot of research and a lot of studies going into how to get people to not choose that category. So there we are. I'm very curious to see what the results will be, but those results are not out yet.
An important question to understand what the Latino community looks like. But although the form is short, the results that come out of it go beyond painting a portrait.
Latinos have been extremely influential in terms of determining whether or not particular states will gain additional political representation. It also is interesting that many of the states where that is happening, Florida, for example, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, of course, those are states that also have been very recently Republican states.
The census can not only determine what a population looks like and how a community will be politically represented, but it can also provide behavioral patterns and background information.
And it's important to also note that it isn't just immigration that has made for the increase in Latino population in these states, that I think that the group that is growing the fastest now is the second generation group, the children of immigrants or the grandchildren of immigrants. That's where the growth has really occurred.
Because of constant changes in population patterns, having a census is crucial to understanding what American looks like, to assess the current needs and prepare for the future generations to come.
Where I see this all heading is to the 2020 census, where what I think the country will begin to move towards is thinking about race and ethnicity in a very different way.